Amy.
Happy.
We just watched 90 Day Fiancé The Other Way Season 7, Episode 10.
We did.
First thoughts?
Irritation, sadness,
What? Oh, sadness.
and some sort of excitement.
All right. Interesting mix.
I'm still not sure. What were your initial thoughts?
My initial thoughts are it's all about the work this week. Everyone's doing work or realizing how much work they have yet to do.
Okay, that's fair.
Should I do the 1 and 2? 1, rate, review, and follow us wherever you listen to the podcast. 2, watch the podcast on YouTube at 90 Day Fiancé, honestly. And now we may begin. Jenny and Sumit.
The cafe.
It's the update we've all been waiting for weeks. Like you said, I think it's been since episode 2 or 3 since they mentioned the cafe, and now we are finally back to see what's been happening. And the time frame, get this, it's been a week. A week? Is that all? Really?
It's been a lifetime, man. Absolute lifetime.
That's what I feel like. Time is moving much faster or slower in India because now the cafe is ready for business.
And they have all their appliances.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's all set up.
They have a special event in which they're going to launch the cafe. So that's this blessing of, I think, all of the businesses and cafes, restaurants in that immediate area. And then their plan is to make food for everyone to sample for free so that they can start to build a bit of a buzz about their cafe.
Yes.
Now, what is Jenny's contribution to this grand scheme?
Complaints. Nothing but complaints. She doesn't try to clean anything. She doesn't help prepare anything. She just stands there and complains. And even when the sister-in-law is trying to teach her how to use the coffee machine, she's all, oh, no. Just her, like, I don't know if it's feigned incompetence, like willful incompetence, or if she's lazy. I don't know, but I found her really irritating in this episode. So hard to watch.
It was. From the moment that they get to the cafe the night before, she seems completely incompetent. She's talking about the machine. This is going to be her big contribution to the team, is to take charge of the huge coffee machine, make espressos, cappuccinos, lattes, mochaccino, everything, which I guess is a pretty complicated job. I hadn't really thought about it before, but she doesn't even seem up to this task.
No, even if she wants a cup herself.
And of course, she's not making her famous spaghetti that everybody loves. So her only contribution can be making something pretty boring, like hot beverage. Maybe not boring, simple.
Simple, yes. Though the coffee did look delicious.
Okay. Well, she also complains because she doesn't agree with this idea of giving the free food samples. She thinks that it's a waste of money, a waste of energy, and they should be charging right away. What are your thoughts on that?
That's not how you start a business. And her freaking out that they haven't made any money. Well, they're not technically open yet. This is like a big pre-grand
Launch.
opening. Yeah. And how are you supposed to convince people to eat your food if they've never tried it? It's easier to bring people in if they've sampled what you've had. I don't know about you, but I love me a sample.
Absolutely. It's classic strategy for marketing, for making people interested in your restaurant to give them free food.
Mm-hmm.
So the way that she complains about this as a strategy that the family's adopted in order to make people want to know more and to come and buy food at their cafe, I think is just telling of this whole endeavor. She's been negative from the start. She's incompetent. She doesn't know how or what to do. The only thing that she's providing on a regular basis to everyone is a litany of complaints and her bad attitude, with her shaking her head with her arms crossed in the corner, doing nothing.
And she keeps saying, if we're not making money, how are we supposed to move from the parents? And she keeps saying the parents. And I don't think she realizes that this was Sumit's grand scheme anyway, was to move back in with his parents, and there is no leaving.
No escape.
No. But the Watergate scandal,
It's just classic 90-day moment. This will go down in history. The toilet water that they use to cook food. I was of two minds. At first, obviously, gross and ew, and yes, throw all the food out.
Mhm.
Then I thought, actually, being Canadian, we know that there are certain communities here where the water is very, very bad and they have to boil the water before they drink it, use it, consume it, whatever. So, boiling water does, in fact, get rid of all the bacteria, viruses, anything that's a pathogen in the water is eliminated through the process of boiling only for 1 minute. That's all it takes.
Mhm.
So, in fact, they're okay because they were boiling potatoes, which take 12 to 15 minutes. Come on.
Oh, I mean, did you see the size of those? It could have taken longer.
Yeah, they were doing them whole, weren't they? They didn't even
Yeah.
cut them up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hilarious, yet also completely unnecessary.
I'm really proud of Sumit for being aware of the hygiene, though why didn't he fix a water source before they opened the restaurant? Also, why didn't he, provide water the way that he did for the next day? Or why didn't he communicate, you shouldn't use this water because it is the toilet water?
I know. It's so ridiculous.
Again, he failed and he throws his little pity party. Oh, yes, it's my fault again. Yeah, it is.
It
Legitimately, it
totally,
is.
totally is. He knew from the start that this was going to be an issue with this restaurant. Why did he not do something about it beforehand? Don't know.
Mhm.
Unless it was just to give us this titillating moment.
I'd like to
So
know what the
stupid.
water source is for that coffee machine, because typically it's, like, not hardwired, but it's, like, it has a direct source of
Yeah.
water. Otherwise, you're just going to be refilling a reservoir time and time and time again, and is that water going to be enough to sustain the consumption?
Yeah. The amount of water that they brought the next day in that jug thing. What are those called? The water dispenser tanks that we've all seen in offices.
Like a Culligan?
There's
The
what?
water
How much
cooler.
water in there? If like I don't know, gallons? Or is it 5 gallons? I don't 10,
I don't
20? But nevertheless, it does not seem like an adequate amount of water if you're going to be boiling food, making coffee, and also providing maybe glasses of water to people who want it. It seemed minuscule. Maybe a couple of hours and they'd be out.
and the washing up, unless you're going to
Oh
be
yeah.
washing up with the toilet water.
Let's hope that they're not doing that because then the water would not be boiled.
Yeah. And, you know, I found it strange that on like when they're preparing the food, in one clip, they're wearing hairnets and gloves. And then in the next one, the next clip, they are not.
Yeah.
I was confused. Was it too much for you to follow proper safety? I'm sorry, I'm losing my words here. And then also when they were doing the blessing and the man comes through and he's doing the holy water with cow pee, like around the food.
It's food out in the open.
Yeah.
You're worried about boiled toilet water, which is actually, in fact, perfectly safe, versus cow urine, which is now actively in your food that's out on the countertops.
It is contaminating your food more so than the boiled toilet water.
How? How do they have these priorities so mixed up where one act can be disgusting and the other one is revered as spiritual and cleansing? It's the other way around, people. The cow urine is not what you want to be having in your food, and the boiled water is perfectly safe.
Yeah, I just the mental gymnastics. No, I didn't have the ability to deal with it. Okay, I have one more complaint. Jenny's cadence when she speaks. It seems as though it's gotten slower, like every season that we see her. And that was just really grating on me when I watched it. Just
Well,
just
come
stop
on,
talking,
Amy.
Jenny. Just stop talking. And I feel bad
She's
because I
almost
like her.
70. She's
Yeah.
almost 70. But this is the stage of your life when you want to be slowing down, I think.
Yeah, but to that level, I feel like I'm doing that right now, and that's irritating me too.
No, I don't mean the slowing down in terms of her speech, but definitely she is slowing down the way she talks. I also found that a bit concerning. It's that why would you be starting a business at this stage of your life? Anyway, this is a choice. I'm just here to watch it.
But anyway, I'm just glad that we got to see the cafe finally. I really wish that they focused more on the food. Really wanted to get a grasp as to what they're serving. Like, we did see the platters, but we didn't know what was on them.
Yeah, it seems like a strange mix of both Indian culture and
American?
American food because there's burgers coming, which is an odd choice since quite a bit of the population does not eat beef because cows are sacred.
Mhm.
And about 30% of the population is vegetarian. So there's that, but we'll see.
They could be lentil burgers.
I doubt that very much.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm I'm confused, but I hope we get to see more of it later.
Yeah. Let's read on. Let's go
Okay.
to Pattiya and Dylan, who are shopping at the furniture store.
For
Should be a fun
more
occasion.
beige furniture
Oh yeah. They were uniquely on beige furniture, beige sofas and couches.
and chair oh god, I would ruin that so quickly. Like, just not
Oh, I
not
know.
in my house. Not in my
Not
house.
practical, but they don't have any pets, right? So they're probably okay. Anyway, Dylan comes up with this proposal to Patia, which I thought was really quite smart. Let's not go overboard on the budget for furniture. And in fact, let's try to save as much as possible so that we can put that money that we don't spend on furniture towards your debt.
Did you see that death stare that she gave him when he brought it up? I had to rewind it. I was giggling. She really doesn't like that.
But this brought up so many questions for me. Like, is or was Patia planning on paying this debt back, which is all credit card debt, by the way, 20,000. And we all know that the interest rate on credit cards is astronomical. It's really hard to keep up with if you're doing installments. How is she planning to pay for this debt to service it even when she doesn't have a job anymore? And she can't work while she's in Australia until she gets all of her paperwork sorted.
And why didn't she pay it off before she moved?
Yeah. So it seems like she's relying on Dylan to pick up the tab. And before they get into how she wants him to do that, there's a little bit more discussion to give us some more details as to what kind of a lifestyle that is that she's been leading and how she spends. She says she's in debt because of Dylan, because when they
Always
moved to
this way.
Thailand together and then they broke up, she had to move back to the US and she'd already sold everything, rid of everything, so she had to start from zero. But that's his fault.
And she
I-
says that several times. When we get more context around her debt and we see her blaming him for everything, there's no accountability, and this is a pattern of
yeah.
behavior for her. So now I can understand more of where he's coming from and his concerns. Though, why wasn't this discussed previously? Why would anyone talk about this before? No, it's not one of those top discussions that you have before you get engaged. But and then I had to laugh because he said, it's a pattern of behavior, and I'm like your relationship,
Mm,
breaking up, the getting back together. Seems as though she feels comfortable in those patterns.
yes. I wrote down that it's habit, the spending splurges,
Hmm.
and breaking habits is very hard. But what he describes, I found to be a perfect description of what a habit of behavior is. And it seems like she's been doing this for a long time before Dylan and while she was with Dylan. And then conveniently, she gets to blame it on him so that she's released from the responsibility of having to pay it, which in fact, I think would be one of the only ways to maybe break your habit is to know exactly what kind of damage you caused and how long it takes to repay it. But her solution to this problem is,
Outrageous?
yeah, completely. She wants Dylan to sell one of his houses, which is a source of income for him. It's a rental property, so that he can pay off her debt.
How is that even remotely fair? And, like, the audacity, the entitlement coming from this woman is insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta find the root cause of this habit before you can break it, but you also need to take accountability for it. But I couldn't believe that she told him to sell his house.
Yeah, I think we've got a really big problem between these two when it comes to money.
Mhm.
Her lack of accountability is gymongous. Do we think that perhaps this is the contributing factor to their breakups before? Because that's very plausible,
Potentially.
given the way that she has this attitude that he's got to take care of it for her, that it's his fault that she's in this financial bind. And then his response to it is, let's see if we can change your habit. Let's see if you can get better, in effect. And it's not until I see that you are being a responsible person and not living outside of your means that I will go down this road and commit to marriage with you.
That's felt like a dangling carrot. Like, you're either gonna marry her or you're not. Is she gonna
I've
change? She claims she has, yet she still has all this debt.
Yeah, how there's not enough time that's elapsed for her to prove that she's changed her behavior. I
Yeah.
don't buy that.
No, I agree with that. I just know how I feel about those dangling carrots.
But I
I
don't
under
feel like it is a dangling carrot because you
I
have
under
to be on the same page about finances before you get married.
Yes, I understand that. It's
Uh-huh.
just my perspective of it. And again, like, I'm not saying what he's doing is wrong because, he is trying to teach her better financial habits.
Okay. So we've got a conundrum. Either she's going to change her spending habits. Good luck with that. And they're going to get married, or she's not going to change her spending habits and they will not get married. So I hope she didn't get rid of everything from her place in the US this time around because she may be going back.
I thought she said that she did,
Mhm.
that she sold everything and she only had those, like, 2 suitcases with her.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe she has a storage unit somewhere.
I hadn't thought of that. Perhaps, but she said this was the final move, so I can't see her spending
Mhm.
more money
Mhm.
on a storage unit when this is supposed to be her forever, and also that's more money.
Mm, crazy.
Yeah.
Shall we read on?
Oh, the sadness.
The sweet Greta and somewhat enigmatic Matthew with the opening Downton Abbey like music,
Yes.
which was quite funny because they're going to have high tea.
I
This is,
love the high tea,
of course, you did.
and I love how they, like, put that little piece of chocolate in that little teacup. I was like, "Oh, that is just this is gonna be an excellent, excellent segment. Please focus on the food."
Yeah, it did not disappoint for food. We had sandwiches, we had cakes, we had scones,
We had We had vegan and we had regular. I don't I don't know how to say that. Anyway,
and Matthew's family, because Matthew is not here, and Greta have this lovely time bonding over their tea where they're talking about how much they're impressed with Greta, how much they love her, how much she means to the family, how they're all becoming so much closer. It's very warm and welcoming. Matthew's mom, in particular, says such reassuring, loving things to Greta. It's quite touching.
I thought it was so sweet.
It's very clear that she has embraced Greta into the family wholeheartedly. But when Matt's mom mentions children in the future and her excitement over grandbabies, I thought this was wonderful. Greta, to her credit, is completely honest and says, actually, right now, I'm not so sure. I
Mhm.
don't know if I want to become a mother. And I thought that was fantastic that she had the guts to say that and not to shy away from it at all.
Yeah, I'm proud of her for speaking up because as we've seen in the last episode, she was really worried about how she was gonna bring it up, so I think that this was the perfect bridge to allow her to open up to Matthew about it. Though you could definitely see the disappointment on Matthew's mom,
Of
on her
course.
face. That was unfortunate. And when Greta was talking about making the Christmas ornaments with her sister who passed, oh my god, the heartstrings. And then
Mhm.
to hear about the awful stepmother who threw those ornaments away,
Yeah.
and then the way that Matthew's family rallied around her and they're like, "We will bring you in on our traditions. We will make our own." Just thought that that was the most beautiful, beautiful way to, again, with the words, comfort her and to continue to welcome her into her new life with this family. Oh god, it was so beautiful.
I have 2 things I'd like to add before we move on to the apple orchard.
Okay.
One is that Greta says to Matthew's mom, she feels that Matthew would be a great dad, and I was like, "Would he?" Question mark. Would he?
Uh,
And she doesn't want to deprive him of that experience.
I wrote down the same thing, and then I said, "He's gonna be a good father. He's not even a good boyfriend," which I think continues into the orchard,
He
or
doesn't
is
even
further
have
proven.
Yes, he doesn't even have the forethought to clean out a couple of drawers for you. What do you think he's gonna sacrifice in order to look after a child who is much, much more demanding than a woman who moves into your bedroom and asks for a couple of drawers to be cleaned out?
Yep,
The
yep, yep.
second thing that I wanted to mention is when Greta first introduces this scene, she says that Matthew is at work and that's why he's not able to go. That brought me back immediately to Matthew's bedroom with the giant computer, the very expensive computer that he just bought. And you and I were saying, why is he spending this money unnecessarily on things? And he's trying to restrict Greta's spending, which seems very controlling and weird. And we thought, well, maybe the computer's for work, so this is a legitimate expense. It's not, because he's at work. He's not at home, he's at work.
I'm playing the devil's advocate. It's possible that he's hybrid, but I don't think so.
I don't think so either. This is a gaming computer, and this thing takes up half of their bedroom. I like Matthew even less.
Yeah. My comments from here on out are just not. Anyway, apple orchard.
Apple Orchard, here we come. Okay. Matthew says, and this blew me away, it's Greta's third day?
Yeah, I
Huh?
thought I heard that too.
It's like, what? Again, with this weird time loop. In India, it's also a very short amount of time. And in England, it's a very short amount of time. And it feels like it's been weeks or months, possibly.
Yeah.
No, 3 days. And they've done all of this in 3 days. Okay, fine. They have a lovely visit to the apple orchard slash farm. Greta, again, to her credit, is honest. She's open. She's forthright. She confesses to Matthew, I'm not sure that I want to have children anymore. I'm reconsidering. And I thought his attempts at trying to convince her otherwise by saying things like, oh, well, maybe it's because you had an unhappy childhood and you just can't bear to bring up a child and have them have the same experience. She's like, no, 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 of course not. It's the opposite. Like, I thought that she was really good in standing firm against his attempts at, in effect, belittling her choice not to have children
Mm-hmm.
by saying, oh, well, it's just because of this trauma you had when you were a kid. And I know what's going on. No, you don't, Matthew. Mm-mm.
Yeah, it was condescending
Yeah.
in a way. And I'm- I made the comment that I just want him to shut up. He claims that she's his person, and yet he's the only one who hasn't made her feel welcome.
Yeah.
And this just shows, again, how much he doesn't listen when she speaks. And one of the last things that popped out to me, maybe it was the last thing that he said, was, I will be 200% of the parent then, or whatever he said with that.
Yeah. Mhm.
Like, you're trying to talk her into this massive decision. So selfish, not listening. Like, what characteristics does this man have that would make him a good father?
Yes, precisely. Because even though he's saying, oh, well, if you don't want to take on any of the responsibilities of parenting, I will be there for 200%, for 100% for both of us. That seems very generous and loving. Okay, fine. But is it? Because what he's saying is she's just basically a baby machine.
Mm-hmm.
She can pop out the kids and then just turn off. Huh? And what, step away for 18 years while he does 200% of the parenting and yet they're married? Like, it's just so bizarre to me that he can even suggest this idea. And that is the moment where I went,
Nope.
Matthew is not going to be a good father.
Yeah, I agree with everything that you said. His, like, I've seen couples do that where one of them wants a kid, the other one doesn't, but has one just to placate the other. And then how do you think that makes that kid feel? Do you honestly think that if they did have a baby together, she would step back and do absolutely nothing? No. She would probably be doing more than what he's doing. I mean, very likely that's exactly what would happen. He's talking right out of his ass, and that's exactly what he is. He is an ass. and Greta deserves so much better. Just get rid of the man, but keep his family.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Yeah, I think that sounds fair.
Let's read on, shall we?
Luke and Brian, my new
Yeah,
favorite couple.
because we don't get to see Madeleine. Don't get to. We do not have the pleasure of seeing her angry face and her nails
Oh God.
this week. Just Luke and Brian.
I found this date to be one of the most refreshing ones that we've seen in a long time. I really, really enjoyed this part. Like,
Okay.
legitimately, I really did.
Yeah. Well, say more.
Excuse me. Well, we find out that Brian is the one who was married to Madeleine's friend.
Mm,
And apparently, Madeleine started a rumor about him being unfaithful to get back at him for telling Luke about the topless sleeping thing.
mhm.
She ruined his marriage
Yes.
over it. The conniving vindictiveness of this child
Child.
is just like her shitty behavior knows no bounds. Like, this is just insane. And
Mhm.
I just like reveled in all of the unfortunate things that he said about her. Unfortunate because they're true and like Luke's living this life. But like, he called a spade a spade. He put it all out on the table for him. He's like, WTF, dude? What are you doing with this woman? And one of my favorite parts was his face when Luke said that Madeleine called off the wedding. Almost like dubiousness, like, nah.
There was like almost zero reaction. He was not surprised whatsoever by that statement,
Yeah.
which was very telling.
Hmm.
And I loved how Brian was completely forthright about his feelings about Madeline and Luke's relationship because it wasn't just about her, it was about their relationship as well. Saying things like, you're being manipulated, you are being controlled, and asking Luke if he's even happy, which he says he's not.
That's quite obvious. How can you be happy with someone who throws cake at you
Yeah.
like that? What a waste. I'm still not over that. What a waste.
And the interesting thing for me was when Brian asked Luke, like, how do you feel about her? And there was that waffling over, he couldn't really put his finger on an actual characteristic of something nice about Madeline that he liked. That's a separate issue. But then he says he likes the way that he feels when he's with her, which is such a nebulous way of saying, I don't know why I like her. And then I was like, but okay, but how do you feel when you're with her? Because what we've seen so far is that you've spent an enormous amount of time apart in different countries. And when you have been together, she has been upset with you almost every moment of that time. So why do you feel good when you're with her? Or why do you like the way that she makes you feel? Because I think the way she makes you feel is crappy.
Maybe he likes that though. Like, maybe it's a kink.
Yes, there is that. He could believe that he's not worthy and he needs to be punished.
Oh God, gross.
I didn't mean sexually. I meant,
No, I know, but that's where my brain went, and that's why I said
okay.
gross. It wasn't your comment, it was my thought process.
Okay.
I thought it was very telling that, and even Brian called him out. He's like, you didn't say anything nice
Mhm.
about her.
Yeah.
Didn't say anything about her business acumen, her tenacity, question mark, her passion, perhaps.
Yeah. Nothing.
Literally nothing,
Mhm.
unless they cut it out. But I think Luke is just way too stupid to actually hear the things that Brian's putting down.
Okay.
It's just like a massive list of all these cons of being with her.
Mhm.
Luke can't say a damn thing to refute any of it.
No, I guess there is no right moment to tell your friend, actually, I really like very young girls, and I've groomed this one, so why would I give her up now?
Yeah, I got what I wanted.
Blech.
That's so gross. Don't
Anyway,
like it.
Brian's harshness, I think, can be summed up in the question that he asked Luke at the end. Well, it's not a question, it's a statement. Wake the fuck up. Great advice. However, I feel like this will have the opposite effect on Luke than Brian desires. I feel like it will make Luke want to go back to Madeline even more when somebody tells him to wake up.
I just had a thought.
Mhm.
Hopefully, I can hang on to this one. that when he was going to meet up with Brian, Luke had said that Madeleine absolutely hates him.
Yes.
Why does he keep doing things knowing full well that she's going to be pissed off when she finds out? Do you think she's not going to find out? Because she's going to
She's
find
gonna find
out.
out.
I
Mhm.
wouldn't be surprised if Brian messages her. Hey, I had beers with Luke and I told him that you're a ratchet person trying to get back at her. I can't see him doing that, but like I would giggle if he did. But it wouldn't change anything. She's still like, this is still her fairy tale wedding coming up. Like, she's doing it just for the attention. Whether or not the marriage survives, I don't even care. But just Luke's sheer stupidity. He goes to see his friend, who he knows his soon to be wife hates. The guy calls her out for all of her, again, with the cons, all of her faults. And I loved it. I loved it so much. Thank you, Brian. That was probably one of my highlights from the season was
Mhm.
just Brian saying it like it is, and she's already called off the wedding. Like, just you want to piss
But
her off
has she?
more.
I mean, we haven't seen anybody go and call the wedding coordinator and say, "Tell everybody it's off. Don't make any further plans. Don't make the caterers cook the food or anything like that." We haven't seen any. I mean, we know from the preview for next week they are going to go ahead with the wedding.
Mhm.
We, yeah. This was all a subterfuge, a red herring, because nobody really canceled the wedding.
Yep.
Any
Yes.
final thoughts for this week?
Thank you, Brian. That's all I got. Yep.
Good. Excellent. I love that. Before we go, if you're enjoying the 90 Day Fiancé Honestly podcast, please subscribe to or give our show a follow. If you have an additional moment, please rate us and help other 90 Day fans to find our show. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, everyone.
See you next week.